record it. Okay, today is going to be our MapReduce. We will actually whatever we discussed yesterday, the MapReduce concepts. We will go and implement that MapReduce concepts. Means as we'll write a MapReduce job, and we'll write a map task and some map method and reduce method, and we'll try with the example which we discussed yesterday, like finding the working on the stock exchange data, and we'll try to find out the each day's stock maximum price. Okay, so we'll do that in the today's class. So I'll just refresh what we discussed on MapReduce side. So just can you confirm? Are you able to see my screen? I am sharing my slide.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Thank you. So as we saw, the MapReduce framework is built on three phase: map phase and shuffle and short, short and shuffle phase, and then you have a reduce phase. Most of the things what we do, we read a data from HDFS. The data is stored as a blocks across the nodes in the cluster. So we read whatever the input you pass to the MapReduce, that will be read from HDFS, and there will be a map phase. In the map phase, you actually run your mapper, which is a mapper program will be there. Okay, so please stop me if I'm going fast, or if you're not able to understand, just stop me. I will just so so you will have a mapper program and reducer program. So in the map phase, the mapper program will take input from HDFS, which that is individual blocks in HDFS. So your mapper program will be run for each individual blocks. Okay. So if you have three map blocks for your data, it will have three mapper running on your cluster. Where is that? Okay. Okay, so if you look at this, so if we have a file with which has three blocks, so in three node, three mapper will be running. Okay, in parallel. Okay, that's all about the map phase. And then once this mapper is completed, it will write the output in the respective nodes disk, and the SDF, the job client will take the data, and then it will send it to the reducer. During that, uh, the before going to the result of mapper to the reducer, there will be a shuffle and sort. What it does is basically a grouping of all your keys. Okay, and it will sort and do the grouping, and it will send you the uh, um, key with the grouped data to the reduce phase. So in the reduce phase, we generally do the aggregation, so finding a maximum or sum or whatever. Then you write the result back to the HDFS. So this is the high level the MapReduce. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Execution flow works. Okay, we'll go little deep. So the map this program expressed in this different phases. So we take input split, which is nothing but a block, and we run a mapper program, and we send the result back to the reducer, and then the reducer you do the aggregation and write to HDFS. And so in the reduce phase, you get the grouped key. So as I discussed yesterday, here in this program we consider stock symbol as a key and value as the closing price, and we want to find out um, which is the maximum closing price of each stock, and you get the key is a stock price, right? Say is the key, and all the grouped values come. So if you see, there is a stock which stock symbol which has ABC, which contains many closing prices. Say this is a different closing price for the single day, different in time, different time you'll have a different price goes up and down, right? So those price, and this is coming input to the reducer function or the reduce function in the reducer program. So you can just do the some simple math calculation to find out. There are math functions available. You can use that. You can find out the maximum stock price. So the result will be written to HDFS. Right. So just we'll go and run the program and we'll see. So just to have a better understanding. Uh, uh, what happens if multiple reducer goes. So by default, it is one reducer. You can actually configure the number of reducer you want to do. But mapper is controlled by the number of blocks in your STFS for a certain file which you pass as a input. Okay, so now we'll go back to the program. Okay, so as I mentioned, there is a mapper class or mapper program. So this is a Java syntax. Just people who have already know Java, fine. For non-Java programmers, please don't get scared. You just simple. This is very simple. You can actually anyway. We are going to do the same MapReduce program in Python. Okay, this is for your understanding purpose. I'm just explaining. So there will be, see, in Java, it's basically Java being a object-oriented programming language. We express our logic or computation in the form of class and functions. Okay, classes, function, objects. So a class will contain basically a members or properties and the functions or methods. So we actually, whenever we want to do some computation, we create an object for class and call the function, pass the argument. So that's how the Java program works. So when you write a mapper, I told you there will be a map method, okay, which gets the yes, we can do same thing in the using Python, Sashi. Yes. Actually, I will first show you this example and run the. We'll take input data and run using a Java program. And the same
Oh, well,
example.
I just wanted to know, like, if it's we can do it or not in Python too. It's fine in Java too.
Yeah,
I just
sure,
wanted
sure,
to know. Okay, thank you.
sure. Thank you. Okay. So in the map method, uh, basically, okay, in the map method, I mentioned you in the last class. In MapReduce, everything you express as a key value pair, right? Even though the data comes as a like lines and you will have a primitive type string, integer, everything, but it is the abstraction in the MapReduce basically key value pair. So every data will be coming as a key value pair. You internally have to take that data from that key or value and then process, and even you have to, your input and output is a key value pair. That's it. So inside your function, you can do whatever calculation you want to do, but the MapReduce framework will understand only key value pair. Okay, that's why you see here there is a mapper class which contains a map method which receives the key, which is a long writable, and the value is a text. Okay, so um, it, this long writable text or the data types used in the MapReduce. So if you take any programming language or even SQL like structure query language, we use the data types. Like, so basically, when you want to create a table in database, we have to specify the data type. So generally, we use primitive data types like a string, integer, and float, double, right? Those are all primitive data types used in the different programming language. Uh, to give the more performance in the distributed computing, so this Hadoop framework introduced the new data types. Okay, so those data types are called long writable. Is for storing your long value or yeah, long value, and the text is the one data type which is used to store your string value or varchar value. These are the data types as a better serialization and deserialization mechanism, because the lot of data is going to move across the different nodes in our cluster. So because it has to travel across the network inside the cluster. So if you have a good serialization and deserialization mechanism, the data can be easily transferred between the nodes. For that reason, they actually introduced these data types like wrong writable, text writable. So so your input is will be there, and inside your function you have to convert that uh, text is a text type into varchar or a string. In the Java programming, we say varchar is a string here, data types. You convert this in string, and you perform some operation, and you, when whatever the logic you want to do, you do that logic. Finally, again take the, whatever you want to write it as key value pair. So yesterday we discussed not yet. I think we have discussed it, right? So actually we take actually simple employee function, and we want to do uh, evangelists just want to do the what is the sum of salary for each department, and we consider the department as a key, okay, and value as a our salary, right? So in the map, what you do is basically you take this employee data and convert split by a comma separator, and take the um, from out of this array of your values, you take your department as a key, and the salary as a value, and you write key value pair in the map function. That's what it is doing it here. Okay, so you get a key value pair, you do some calculation, and you write as a key value pair. While writing, your key has to be data type of which MapReduce can understand. So MapReduce can understand only text, not the var string or integer. It can understand this data type. And similarly, value, which is of float writable, I'm just writing it. Okay, so and in reduce, uh, a reducer, as we showed uh, in this example, you will actually your key will be grouped during this is the short and shuffle phase, which we don't have any control. The MapReduce will take care of it. It will actually group your key, and it will give you the group key with the grouped values, right? So you see key as a ABC, and a grouped value as a list, or maybe the collections, right? Collection of items. So that same thing you see here. So this is represent as your key is like just a normal string, or the string which is represented in text, and you see there's a iterable, which means it's a collection. So all your grouped values coming as input. For every key you get a grouped values, then you can do your logic, and finally you write your output using a key value pair. So your key will be your symbol, and out value will be your maximum closing price, which we are calculating in this example. Okay, so yeah, so I'll show you the program, and if you have any doubt, you'll ask me, or else we'll just run and show you. Once I just show you the program, I'll just hold for some time. You just ask your questions if you have any doubt. Then we'll go slowly. So I'm going to use for Java, I'm going to use the IDE called IntelliJ. You can use Eclipse if you're know already. As I told you before, most of the, at least in the current market, people don't use MapReduce. For understanding of MapReduce, which is going to help you in the future components like Hive and Spark, I am actually explaining this. See this all about the importing all your Java classes which is required for this program, and I'm writing a one simple class and then having a map method, and the key value pair is coming. It will be coming as input. So we need to convert this text data type into varchar by using a value.toString. And once you have a your the line which is your data as a string, you can use the split function to split using comma separator. So okay, I will show you the input data how it look like. Okay, so this is how my input data is. The first line is basically column of each field, and this is the stock one of the stock entry on particular time. Okay, on particular date, this is the stock entry, and you see there's a exchange, basically from which exchange the data has come from, and stock symbol, which is the company stock symbol, uh, and date and stock price, uh, the day's high price and low price, and what is the closing price, and what is the stock volume and the adjacent price, stuff like that. So we want to find out for each stock symbol what is the maximum closing price. Okay, so this entry has different dates. In the same date also it has a different stock price and its closing price. So out of individual date, basically, uh, okay, so sorry, individual stocks maximum price we want to find out. So we interested on the stock symbol column and the closing price column, and we'll find out maximum out of it. Okay, whenever this red data is coming to map method, so this entire line is coming in the value field, in the value as a value argument, and the key is the offset, which is the line number of the file. Okay, so we are not interested in the line number of the uh, record. We just interested in the value. Okay, we just split, and we just took only the stock symbol as a key and the closing price as a value. So when you write, when you do context.write, so basically it is going to write into the disk as a mapper output. And in the reducer, what we do, so in the shuffle and sort phase, your key will be grouped. You get a stock symbol, and it's a grouped value. Means all the grouped value has a multiple closing prices for the same stock symbol, and you find a simple max math calculation. So what we are doing is first we are taking a minimum. We are declaring one variable called max closing price and setting a minimum value from the float data type. Okay, and then you're looping the each elements in this collection and finding out the maximum and storing this so that it will iterate all the elements and it will try to find out a maximum price, and that is written into the SDFS. Okay, maybe for non-pro Java programmers the syntax will look like complex, but the logic which you write is a very simple logic. Do you have any question? uh, can I proceed further, or do you have any question?
No, no question. Yeah.
Okay, Nanda, do you have any question? You don't have. Are you saying you don't understand, or you don't have any question? Okay, okay, good. Thanks. Uh, Fine. So, how do you create this? Okay, so yeah, Nanda knows Java. Very good. Okay, fine. Uh, so basically, just give you more information. This is the Maven based Java projects. Maven is a build tool, right? So when you create a Java project, you might need some third-party libraries, right? Or maybe you need some dependencies components. Okay, so you need to uh, have those components in the form of libraries called jar. Okay, to use it in your program. Say example, we are writing a this is a simple Java program. Okay, so this is a Java program. We use we imported some of the packages. So yeah, these packages are by default not available in Java. Okay, to use these packages, we needed some libraries or called jars. Those jars we can manually download and we can use it in this project, or uh, there is a pom.xml file, pom.xml file. If you fill this some entries as a dependency information, which means I want jars which is related to Hadoop common Hadoop client. The Maven is a kind of build tool. It will go and download from the repository. Okay, there is a public repository which contains all the related to jars related to different components and different frameworks. So it will the Maven build tool go and download your the dependency jars, and it will keep it in your project so that you can use it in your project. So that's one of the use of Maven build tool. If you want to say in a very simple term, it is used to you can specify your dependency or which jar you want to use it in your project in the pom.xml file. When you build this project, it will go and download those jars and keep it for you. Okay. So otherwise, if I don't use this POM file, then it will show you a red mark here, and I cannot run this project unless I have the jars. Those libraries or jars are all are downloaded. So you see it here. Okay, this is for your information. And apart from mapper program, where we just do the kind of transformation logic, and we have a reducer program, which we do a aggregate logic. We have one more program called driver program. Here, what we mentioned here is we will mention about our the input information. Okay, so we want to uh, once we write this program, we have to build this program as a jar. Okay, so basically in Java world, so the Java runtime will understand only the class files, which means the intermediate code. This is the high level code which human uh, reads and understandable, right? The JVM, Java Virtual Machine, cannot understand this code. This has to be converted as a class file, which is in the form of intermediate code, so that the JVM can understand, right? So, so for that reason, we are using the one of the reason also we are using Maven the build tool. It downloads your repository, the dependency files from repository, and also it actually able to it will help you to convert this Java files into class file and package as a jar to you, so that you can submit to the resource manager, which is a part of your Yarn framework. Okay, so in the driver program, you need to create a job object. Okay, and then set your you need to tell that which program is your mapper program, which program is your driver program, and what is the key type and value type, because the MapReduce framework will understand only the key value pair, right? You need to tell that what is your key type and value type. Say example, in this example, I use key as, right. So I'm considering key as stock symbol, which is of string, right? So because I want to group based on this stock symbol and find out the maximum price. Say example, if you want to calculate based on some integer value. Say example, you have a stock symbol. Say an example, if your stock symbol is in numeric value, right? Say instead of string value stock code, if your stock code is in some numerical value like 101 or 110 like that. So that time your key type is data type is changed, right? So you need to specify that. You need to specify your key type and value type to the job, so that the MapReduce program, okay, this job, uh, they are going to consider key as an integer type or uh, a string type, everything. So once you create a job object, you are specifying what is your driver class and your mapper class, and then the reducer class, and also this is a output key class, which means this is the what is the key of which comes out of your reducer. Okay, so this is the output key class. For map output key and value also you can specify using the different properties, and otherwise it will take a key as a string, sorry, text type, and value as a uh, uh, the text actually. So so if any type changes apart from default one, you need to mention here. And number of reducer, as I told, we can control by using this property called set num reduce task. Okay, and then you need to tell the MapReduce framework what is your input path. Okay, where is your input file is located. So I'm passing an argument to this program, and that has to be set it in the file input format dot add input path. Similarly, you have to specify once this job is processing your file, where it has to store. So you have to pass the argument of output directory, so that we set it in this property. Okay, like a file output format and dot set output path equal to the path which you are passing. So input output is a basically SDFS path, so it can understand only SDFS. Or when you do on S3 like a framework, you can specify S3 also. And then finally you just say job dot wait for completion, and you will wait for till it completes the job execution. Okay, so this is more of configuring your job. Okay, what is uh, what is your driver class and mapper class and reducer class and input and output. So once you provide this information, and so the what how many file we have? We have 3 file. One is a mapper file and reducer file and driver file. Now we need to package this as a jar. So in this IntelliJ IDE, there are different IDEs as different ways to build your jar. In IntelliJ, you have a Maven here. You can write not here. Yeah, this. You can click on this M symbol. You see there is a, if you click on this tab and you see there is a M symbol, click this. These are the commands actually. Even you can do it in command line, or you can actually run this. You can do install. So it is going to build your class, the Java classes into the jar file as a packaged file. Uh, okay, and I think this is for installing your dependencies. And similarly, there is a package um, command to run the uh, command, and it will actually build your jar and place it in your project. You will have folder called target. So in this target folder, it will place your the final jar. Okay, you can just navigate to this location. where it is. I'll just go to this in home directory. Idea projects and this one target. So you see there is a jar name with same as your project name and hyphen 1.0 hyphen snapshot.jar. So this is the file you need to give to the resource manager. So how do you submit this jar to the resource manager? There is a command line utility. Okay, so I put this command here. Okay, before that I'm going to show you the input which we copied yesterday. Okay. So to access your name node web UI, you say localhost 9870. Okay, so I think my process are not running. To start your or HDFS related services, you can use start hyphen dfs.sh. And then we have to start the yarn service also. So start hyphen yarn.sh. These files will help you to start the yarn related process, the resource manager and the node managers. Since we are using we set up a single node machine, the cluster, Hadoop cluster, you will see only one node manager. But if you have multi-node, you will have multiple node managers. Okay, now let's go and check it here. So browse the file system, and this is going to show you the HDFS directory. In the data directory, I have a subfolder MapReduce and the NOSC data input. I kept here my file. Now I am going to use that, and output directory for now. So output directory, what we are doing it here. See, so the whenever you pass the output directory, that output directory should not be available in the HDFS. If either you have to write a logic to drop the output directory if it exists, or you give the directory which does not exist. So if your directories already exist, the job will not continue. It say output directories exist and it will stop. Okay, the meeting is getting closed. We'll just disconnect and connect back with the same link, and we'll continue the running of the MapReduce job. All right. Please use the same link and rejoin again. Thank you.